today we're going to be running you through some of what I think are the most important beginner tips that you can take away and implement into your climbing straight away and notice a big difference in skill and improvement and have fun doing it. When you watch the really good climbers, they create a little bit of momentum by sinking their hips and then pushing forward to make each move a little bit easier. So from the start to the finish of a boulder, you have to give so much less energy just by creating a tiny bit of momentum with your hips. This is great for beginners, but it's something you'll see every climber do, especially at the top of the top. And here is World Cup winner, professional climber and coach Alex Puccio to explain how to use your hips when you're climbing and how to practice it.
So something that I like people to practice is, so our body's one chain reaction, and to be able to use the whole body well, the energy starts at the feet and then moves up through our body, and then we can move our hands through that energy. But if it's starting at the feet, we have to make sure that our feet are on these energy pods, which are the footholds. Correct. Energy pods. Okay. And that's where the energy and electricity starts to get to the next hold.
Yeah.
With that said, you could be quite close, as hopefully I'm not gonna really fall in the first few moves of this.
Okay.
I'm gonna show you exactly what I want you to do, how we get the energy to get to the next hold.
Yeah.
So first I'm gonna show the incorrect way, inefficient.
Okay.
Not efficient doing it like this. Even though I could still do it, where does that, the first thing that goes up is the arm.
Biceps, yeah.
Locks me. And even if I match my feet, but I'm pulling here, there's no play through my hips. Even that. So look at that, bad technique. So I could still do it, but it's not efficient. So this more efficient way, hips into the wall, neutral position. To get to that next hold, think about a line. If this is neutral, I have to go the opposite direction. If my left hand's going there, I need to extend that line the opposite direction and a little swing over. Then you do your feet. And same here, I would, instead of doing this, I do this.
I think I definitely do pull more.
And then this move, which is, when it's a bigger move, it's more autonomous and you just know you have to do it.
Yeah.
But use momentum to get to the holds. And even like here, I'd come down and in. Here, up, over. So even that, I can obviously do this, but I'm gonna do this to be a little bit more efficient.
Would you like to win a free pair of climbing shoes? In this video, I'm giving away a free pair of tarantulas, not the spiders, the climbing shoes. So if you'd like to win these shoes, you must press that subscribe button and comment your Instagram handle down below in the comments along with your shoe size. But don't forget, you have to be subscribed in order to win these shoes. If you're wondering why I'm doing so many giveaways, it's just simply to say thank you so much for watching these videos. Without you watching these videos, I would not be able to do this job, and it's a dream for me. So I just wanted to give something back and say thank you. So good luck with the giveaway, and back to the tips. As you can tell, for tip number 2, we're in a different climbing gym. That's because I thought of another point that is really useful and I think kind of all beginner climbers should do, and that is hard projecting. Often I see a lot of beginner climbers and they can't get to a certain point and then they're like, oh, I'm a this grade climber. But they tend to not necessarily push their level and try things that are too hard for them. And I think this is one of the most important things to improving as a climber, because it teaches you a lot about what you need to improve on, like technique, or maybe you're weak at a certain type of hold, but also it gives you a lot of confidence in your ability to climb harder stuff. Because eventually, once you start trying something hard, maybe it will feel impossible to start with, but then session after session, it gets easier and easier, and eventually you'll probably do it. So I think it also gives you a lot of confidence, like, oh, I can actually climb a lot harder than I think I can in my head. So what I like to do for a hard boulder session is I pick 4 boulders. The first one, I want it to be not like at my max limit. I want to be able to either do it in maybe like 5 goes, or I want to be able to do it in kind of 2 sections. Then the second boulder, third and the fourth, then I want them to be harder. I want to be able to either be struggling to do the moves or struggling to link moves together. Have 6 goes on the boulder, and when you fall off, think why you fell off. Don't just be like, oh, I fell off, okay, then sit there and scrolling on Instagram for 30 minutes. Sit there and really think what went wrong, and don't assume that it's because you weren't strong enough. Often it's probably because maybe you got the technique wrong, your body position wasn't right, your footwork was sloppy, something like that. It's not always, in fact, often not, it's not because you're not strong enough, it's because you might have done something technically wrong. So don't just revert to like, I'm not strong enough, I need to get stronger. Also think how you could technically climb it better. For this session, I used the crimped app, and it's called Hard Projecting on here. And basically I log all my attempts on here, so it tells me how many reps I need to do, and then when I fall off, I press start, and I have my 2-minute rest time there. And then between each boulder, then you have 3 minutes rest. And also when you're done with the session, I log it on the app. And what I really like is you can add comments into the comment section, obviously. And you can put how well you did each boulder or what you struggle with, and basically write a little review of your session. And then when you come back to this session next week, or whenever you do it again, you can look back on that, and you'll have a thing that you can look at and be like, oh, right, I've done better this week, or I've done worse this week, or the same, whatever. So it's really easy to track your progress, which I think is something really useful, and it's also really motivating because you have something very obvious here where you can be like, oh, I got better this week, which is really psych-inducing. Let me tell you more about Crimped quickly whilst I am in extreme agony. Crimped is free. It is the perfect way to, if you're looking to get into training, to start your journey, because there's loads and loads of free, incredible exercises which everyone can use, whether you're a beginner or a pro. So you can create your own training programs in the app, and if you get Crimped Plus, which is the paid version, then there's also pre-built training programs. So you can, like, if you want to get better, oh my god, why am I so inflexible? So if you want to, this is terrible. So if you want to get better at sport climbing, then there'll be a 12-week training program for that, or fingerboarding, or anything like that. But if you download Crimped now and use any of the exercises in my training program, then in my playlist, then you have the opportunity to win a free lifetime of Crimped Plus. So do that now, have the chance to win Crimped Plus forever, until you're 85 doing one armers off monos. And yeah, it's a great app. I've been using it way before they sponsored me, and I think it's something that every climber should use, especially whether you're starting your journey in training or you've been climbing for ages. Beginners often climb square on, but I'm going to show you the benefits of not climbing square on. So I'm going to do this orange, a few moves square on, so you can see the difference between square on and not square on. So going up here, basically the negatives of climbing square on is that it takes a lot longer and you use a lot more energy. Like, I'm using all the big muscles like shoulders and biceps, everything that you need for hard moves. And it's basically like, instinctively I don't want to do it, like, but we'll do it. So it's just a lot more tiring. Your hips stay far out from the wall, so you've got a lot more weight coming through your arms. Now, if I did this boulder how I'd want to do it, not square on, let's see the difference. I'm twisting my hips. I'm still using a bit of momentum like the other points we've given. I'm using outside edges, which all brings my hip close to the wall. So I'm in much more balance than I was square on. And like some moves, you have to be square on. But again, putting that right foot through, left foot comes out, all the weight's over my foot and hardly anything through the arm. And it also allows me to reach way further than if I was square on. Again, bam, like all these moves, so much easier. And then throw in a little drop knee, twisty. All allows you to keep your arms straight, be more efficient climbing. And it's great for easy stuff or hard stuff. You just save so much energy. If you look out for it in the wall, and you look at people who aren't being square on, and look for people who are being square on, you will notice a big difference how much energy they have throughout the session. Flagging is one of those things you'll see a lot of people do, but it is one of the best ways to move more efficiently on the wall, reduces the need for foot swaps, and when you're in an unstable position, it allows you to find stability and basically, again, like all these other tips, save energy, which is the whole point of what we're doing, so you can get out more boulders. There's 3 different types of flags that we'll run through. So we've got flagging, so flagging out like this, just to create a bit more stability, and I'm smearing against the wall a little bit. We've got a back flag like this, kind of allows me to put more weight through my foot. And then we also have, which is actually my personal favorite, and the rule is you have to shout it when you do it, back flag. Actually, inside flag, sorry. You have to shout inside flag, which allows you to reach further. And again, a lot of it is bringing your hips closer to the wall, and it means you can avoid foot swaps. So rather than having to do this, swap feet, flag out lefts and reach up, I can just simply, more efficient, plant that through and do the reach. So I'll do this rebel. And will count how many flags I do. So that's one flag there, slightly, and there's another. I've done another, done 2 flags. Flick round, flagging underneath, basically getting my hips over my foot a little bit more. Flag. So I think I did maybe like 3 flags there. One small flag to start, which basically, because these holds, they're good, but you're kind of in like an unstable position. Then under here allows me to get my hips closer to the wall, or more over that left foot, so more energy efficient. And then when I came to this hold here, again, if I stay like this, it's really strenuous on my shoulder and arm. But if I flag my right foot under, hips more in line, close to the wall, more weight through the foot, can roll over using less energy. So again, you get to the top of the boulder, more fresh, have longer sessions, climb harder. Simple. Why do I get so out of breath? I need to run. With footwork, there's loads of things we can talk about, but one of the things that I think is most important when you're first starting climbing is slowing everything down and being precise. So often you might find it's difficult to be precise, like kicking bits of the wall, not really getting the part of the foothold you want. If you just slow it down, it's a lot easier and relax. That's important too. It's a lot easier to just get that foot exactly where you want it to be. Try and have a look at where you want your foot to be placed. And this is quite advanced, but think about where your body's gonna end up so your foot simply doesn't slip off the foothold. So I'm gonna use this one as an example. If I know I'm gonna be going that way, there's a possibility I'm gonna be moving my hips this way if we're trying to, not climb straight on and save some energy. So if I put my foot on the best bit of this foothold, which is in the middle, and twist round, I'm twisting my foot off the hold. But if I'm like, right, I'm going that way, I'll put it on the maybe slightly a little bit worse bit of that foothold on the left. But when I twist my body round, my outside edge is exactly on the best bit of the foothold, which then makes it easy for me to move on from it. Here is professional climber and GBT member Louise with a great precision technique drill that you should practice at home.
So if you wanted to train your mobility, another way that you can do it, as well as touching your feet to holds first, is by finding a wall with bolt holes on it, and just practice taking your foot up and touching a bolt hole. And it's also really good for your accuracy. So you can imagine if you're like reaching to a foothold, you want to be able to pick it out with your toe first. Go for a really high one.
You want to be using the toes rather than like the arch of the foot. So all the power in climbing comes from the toes. It allows you to just generate more momentum upwards. If I was using this foothold for say, let's say I just like slap my foot on, bam. I have very little option, oh there you go, came off. Very little option other than going that way. However, if I put my toe on, I can pivot around that. I can do a drop knee, I can pull myself in, all of these things. And because I'm placing it on the toe, being precise, it's gonna save my shoes from like scraping down the wall and basically putting holes in them. And the last thing we're gonna talk about with footwork, this is like kind of a little bit advanced, but it's always good to bear these things in mind. So when you're moving up in climbing, then you've got it, it's in your head. Right, see this foothold here? This is obviously a big foothold, and this is the best bit to put your foot on. Like super massive edge, it's not coming off. However, let's say I'm going that way, right? If I put my foot on there, it's gonna be really hard for me to push that way. However, did I say however again? It's gonna be my new favorite word. If I put it on the left side, which, yeah, sure, it's not as good, but it's still pretty good, I can generate much more force because, let's just see, my foot's angled a little bit. I can push that way. But if my foot was on the top of it, on the best bit, I can't generate that force because there's no angle in my ankle, which means that I can't push through my leg as much to get that direction that I'm looking for. So don't always go for the best bit of the hold, go for the most useful bit in the direction that you're heading. Smearing, I like to think about, it's like magic. You can create a foothold out of nothing. I know what you're thinking, that doesn't sound realistic. However, it's great, right? If I'm on a wall and this green, we've obviously got loads of footholds, but let's say we don't. If I'm smearing, Look at that. I've created four footholds simply by pushing pressure through the wall. There are a few techniques to smearing. You'll find them come into all areas of climbing. Even the flagging that we've been doing, or will be doing, don't know how I've edited this, smearing is going to be in it. Right, so if I smear, let's say I'm smearing out this way. If I smear and I'm like allowing my, I'm smearing and I've got my heel high slipped, as you can see, big rubber mark, sorry hanger. But if I drop my heel, I'm putting so much more pressure through it and I can stand up basically on nothing. So the tip is for smearing, drop that heel, allow the weight to come like all through this part of the shoe rather than just a single point. And that more rubber contact is going to take the weight and allow you to stay on the wall basically. And it's not just on bits of wall, you can do it on footholds. This black hold here, it doesn't look that good, right? It's a smear, or this black. But, so if I stand like this, drop the heel, I've got so much weight going through that, I'm barely pulling with my hands, but the foot is staying on. It's a little bit hard to stand there like that because it's not really a slab. So, smearing, you can create nothing out of something. Magic.
Good Dave, you did it so well. Smearing, you can create nothing out of something.
Nothing out of something, something out of nothing. That's what I meant, something out of nothing. Sorry, not nothing out of something. You know what I mean, it's all good.
Like we'll have to put up with, viewers.